Well, for our listeners, we're so excited to welcome Alex H. from Laguna Beach.
Ooh,
Such an
hi.
iconic show, one of the first reality shows of its kind. So thanks for coming on, Alex.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited.
This was like one of our favorite shows. We watched it together all the time in middle school, high school, like unreal.
This was it for us.
I know. It's crazy. It's so crazy that after all these years it still has fans and people still interested in even what we're doing now. And it's like none of us really knew that it was gonna have that kind of pull, but it's so cool. Like I think it's so awesome that we can all still connect like all these years later.
Yeah.
How many years ago was it? Was it 2007? When did the first season come out?
Well, I graduated 2005 and it started probably like 2003, 2004. So 15.
I do a rewatch like every couple of years because
I just did it and I was like, we have to have them on. It was like the best weekend of my life in the quarantine, rewatching all 3 seasons. I have to say, season 3 is not even close to the gems that we get in season 1 and season 2 with you guys. So
I know.
Really hands down to you're honestly my favorite.
A legend.
Yeah. And I would say the voice of reason, really the voice of reason through the show. If you really rewatch it with all kind of it's funny probably now, all the drama, but like really you had the best, most level-headed insight, I would say.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, I don't know, I guess I'm still kind of that way with like in life and everything, but I had no idea. I mean, you don't even know what you're like kind of really doing or saying in the moment, but you know, as my position as Kristin's friend, I kind of knew I was like the advice heater and kind of that person to like talk about her whole story and everything. But yeah, it was super cool. Like I really, after all these years, like as embarrassed as I am sometimes when I don't ever rewatch it, but if I see like a clip or someone like post something from it, like my husband the other day somehow scavenged up from online. It was like my little mini episode of Cribs that I did.
Oh,
and it was
I'm gonna be for that tonight.
That's amazing.
Oh, it is amazing. Like for me, I'm like, I don't even know that girl. Like obviously it was me, but it was just like, you know, so classic, but it was kind of cringy to watch, but at the same time, it's like, it's so fun to have it, you know, and to see it back then, but you're so different. You're so young at 17, 18, like you just have no idea. I feel like kids now are a little bit more in tune with the world, like in a broader perspective and like politically and like all these issues going on. But like, I mean, and I'm not saying that our generation wasn't, but back in that day, it was kind of like cute to be ditzy and kind of like that kind of like
the Paris
I don't know anything.
Yeah, the simple life.
Exactly, like kind of airheady. So I think I like definitely played into that like a little bit, but it was just because it was like, I don't know, you just kind of like, not that I purposely did, but it just was how I approached life at that time.
Yeah.
That's
so it's embarrassing, but whatever. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit, how did the show get started and how were you cast on it?
The show got started, the MTV came initially to Laguna Beach High School. Sorry, my kid.
No.
They came to the high school and they like had an idea of a show that they wanted to put on. And again, we had no idea what it was going to be like. Want some water, BB? Okay, right here. So they came and then whoever was interested could have like put in an application and they did little video interviews. So it was actually through the school at first. And then I think it kind of upset the community with like families and stuff saying like we don't want MTV like at our school with the kids. So after they had pretty much chosen the cast, the school said, no, you can't film here, but they just pursued filming. So it'd be like after school and on weekends. Yeah. So I didn't actually apply, but like Kristin did and all of the people that we naturally like hung out with and went to parties with. So that's how I kind of got involved, which is because Kristin was chosen. And
yeah. So were your parents supportive? How were the parents' interactions?
My parents were supportive. I think for the most part, all the other cast members' parents were supportive. I know they were pretty supportive.
Were they like in the trenches? Like, how was filming today? What's the drama? You know, like.
Yeah, definitely. My parents were kind of more like excited for me because they would like, you know, production would come to your house and there'd be like cameras and microphones and like the crew out there. So it was like a full like real like set. So it was super exciting, but they just kind of let me be me. Like I'm sure other parents probably a little bit more like, okay, like make sure you compose yourself and, you know, kind of gave them a backing of like do's and don'ts. Yeah. Not that my parents care, but they kind of knew I wouldn't be too crazy, I guess.
Yeah.
I had my moments, but yeah. Yeah. So the parents were, I mean, it was cool. Like as much as like in Laguna, like it did kind of upset the community at the time because it was just putting it on a map in that way. But I think for the most part, it was probably like 50-50 well received and maybe a little bit kind of a controversy. But, you know, because it would be like if you guys in high school and then like some of your friends are like getting filmed. So it's like all of a sudden you show up to a party and there's cameras there and you're like 18, like probably maybe consuming a beverage. And you're like, I don't know if I want that out there, you know. So some other students and kids were kind of not too keen on it. But after a while you start to like know if the cameras were going to be there or not. So if you weren't into it, you wouldn't go, or you would wait till after they were done and then show up.
Got it. So coming off season 1, obviously it was a huge hit. Was there so many other people trying to get on for season 2?
I think so. Yeah, because it was not like crazy. Probably not how it would be like today with like the strive to want to be on TV. But there was definitely other kids interested that wanted to be involved. And I feel like for the most part, like with like Alex M. and who else was like season 2? Taylor Talon. I don't know if he was on. Like they were super stoked and interested, and it kind of naturally happened because it just like that was our crew already, so it just kind of expanded to them. So I don't think anyone really had to like fight to be on it, but it kind of just they kind of stuck with like who already hung out. Like no one really came on that was like
they make it more organic, right?
Exactly.
There's a whole casting process, but this seems like it was way more organic with who was really friends.
Yeah, because you know when you already have history with people, there's like probably already some rooted or you know little dramas starting. So kind of
Okay, I have to ask, why weren't you an official cast member? You were so great.
I don't know. I don't think I had enough like juice on my side going on. I was really bummed back in the day though. I remember I got the call from production when it was season 2 because I was like, oh, for sure I'll be a cast member this time. And then I got the call from like one of the higher ups at MTV, and they were like, well, we're so sorry and da-da-da. And I remember like I totally cried. I was all bummed. I even like threatened to quit the show, all dramatic. But
good for you though.
Yeah.
Was that before you started filming season 2, or did you know ahead of?
This was like halfway through. It was kind of at the beginning of season 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or so happy that you stuck it out because you gave us such good times.
I know. Well, Kristin needed someone to talk to, so I couldn't leave my friend hanging.
Yeah. So this was really kind of the first reality TV show of its kind. Were you kind of aware once it aired, like, wow, you know, I mean, this was like a huge hit and kind of started reality show. And, you know, we had the Kardashians and The Bachelor now, but it really kind of started with like the Osbournes and Laguna Beach. Like, so were you guys aware of it at the time, really?
Not until season 1 started to air. And we saw it was like getting super popular. And then like a couple episodes in, they took some of the cast to be on TRL when that was still on. And then slowly like Kristin would get like a magazine article. So all of a sudden like random things started to happen to some of the cast members. Like, oh wow, this is actually like, people are recognizing this and it's getting really popular. So I remember specifically like watching the season 1 finale. I think they did one of those like not TRL, but one of like a watch party on MTV for like the last season. And they had someone kind of like narrating like sidebar before commercial break. And at that point, I remember being like, whoa, this is like, because I grew up watching MTV, you know, watching all those shows that were on there. So at that point, I was like trippy to be like, we're like, this is like me and my friends on this show that I'm watching on MTV, which is something I like would have done normally. So I had like a little moment there, and then so season 2, and then from on, it just kind of took off from there.
That's crazy. Do you ever think like, so when it came out, there wasn't social media, and now, you know, everyone kind of uses reality TV as a platform and, you know, sells the sugar bear hair and the yummy tea. Like, do you ever wish kind of that there was social media as a platform, you know, back then? Or what is your take on how, you know, there was no social media back then?
No, it's crazy. Yeah, I think it definitely would have made a difference in our lives, because like nowadays there's careers in social media and getting sponsors and having that kind of platform. And I'm sure probably every single one of us would have been like 100% on board with it, like holding up whatever. And, you know, yeah, because I mean, we were young too.
I wish I could have done that. Or no?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, 'cause there was like nothing at that point. I think there was or not even MySpace. Like Facebook had come out, but it was mostly just for like if you actually were a college student.
Yeah.
So it was such a new concept, but I think it would have changed the game for sure. But in a way, it was kind of nice that it wasn't there, because it kept it pretty raw and real and natural, so that like in between seasons or episodes or whatever, it's not like you could just jump on and see what someone's doing right then. Like probably help the show maybe be that much more successful, or the viewers like anticipation to see it, because they really like, that was the only access into these lives that they were putting on TV that everyone was so interested to see.
We need a reboot, and then you can get on social media and blow up.
Right? Tell me about it. I know. I would, if they did any kind of reunion or reboot or anything, I would definitely be on board if they, if they even asked me to. But yeah, it would be crazy. The whole social media thing too, it's like a love-hate. Like it's fun because I use it more with my family. Like I don't really do like any sponsor things, or I've been like asked a few times to get like been just tearing up my house. I've been asked a few times, but it's kind of like, okay, thank you. But I don't know, for me, I'm just kind of like, I don't view it as a means to like a career, but if it went in that direction because of something going on, like if I started a company or something, I would definitely pursue that. But for me, social media is just kind of something I can like share with, my little life with my fans. But it is super crazy because the moment you're put on TV now, it's like you're overnight sort of like social media star, which is incredible. I mean, it's given a lot of people a living and career and support. So yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your life now. What are you up to? Do you ever rewatch the show? Just give us a little peek into your life.
And for listeners that, can't see anything, we hear little voices in the back. So Alex is now a mom, and we can hear her kids in the back. So for the listeners, give us a little, tidbit into what your life is like now.
Oh gosh. It's that's my life right there.
It's real life.
She just slipped in the water she spilled and spilled all of her goldfish. Sorry, that is totally fine. In a nutshell. This is Sydney. My life right now is just busy, just kind of focusing on being a mom and raising my kids. And I mean, it's kind of crazy in the pandemic, but my kids are still little babies, so it's been somewhat of a blessing that they're not like, I can't imagine having like middle schoolers or high schoolers, but we just stay busy. We live in Hawaii. I'm a block away from the beach, so we just walk to the beach every day. Yeah, it's just like a super normal, humble kind of life. Like I work part-time from home. My husband works full-time. I take care of the kids. I make dinner. I do the laundry. Like nothing too exciting.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice life.
Yeah, sounds like a wonderful life.
Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
We're going to turn it into a little bit about the show, if that's okay. Just
the drama.
Some of the key points and favorites.
Oh, good.
Okay, so from rewatching last weekend, it really was both seasons was Jason. Like, what was up with this guy, Jason? Was he really like kind of the golden boy of Laguna? Or
and like, obviously we're not attracted to 17-year-olds, but like, I don't think he's that attractive. He's like the hottest thing going.
Jason, he was just kind of like, I mean, he definitely is like, I haven't seen him for years, but he was super cute. Like growing up, like in school, he was definitely like one of the cute guys. And he was actually like, he's super sweet. Like he has a really good heart. And, so I think he kind of had, like, he turned into the whole bad boy thing later on because it's like, and it's out there because he eventually had like substance abuse problems, which he's now like sober and recovered. Yeah. So he's come a long way, but he just like, I don't know, he was just kind of like cute and desirable, and the girls he just was that kind of guy. The girls would just kind of melt around him. So, but again, I mean, he always has had a heart of gold. He just like, when he started to get into the drinking and the drugs and stuff like that, like that's when the different, like more of that like edgy side came through.
Yeah.
But really at the end of the day, he was a good guy, but he definitely, I mean, all the girls liked him. So maybe he just had a hard time like choosing who.
Yeah. Two quick questions about Jason, then we'll move topic. Okay, so after rewatching it and then watching the first couple episodes of The Hills, the way he spoke, actually, I don't know if you ever rewatch it, was totally different between Laguna Beach and The Hills. He had like a raspy voice in Laguna Beach, and then the first episode of The Hills, he was like eloquent, and his like voice was totally different. So I just had to throw that out there.
Easy, yeah.
And then rewatching it with Jessica, I mean, a lot of your scenes was like, Jessica, what are you doing? Like, come on. Like, do you stay in touch with Jessica? Like, I think she would probably be embarrassed rewatching that. No offense. Sorry, Jessica.
Oh my goodness. Well, sure. I mean, I think all of us have our moments of being embarrassed because you grow up now and you're like, what was I doing? But
you really don't, though. I'll say you don't have any.
No, you don't. I know, because you kind of you have to kind of live through it. But the whole thing, well, Jessica, like, bless her heart too, like she really liked Jason, and like they had a good run for a while, but he just like, it clearly was one of those things where it's like he's just not like as committed, or he's messing around. So like as friends, we're just like, no way, you got to end this, or stick with it, but like, no, it's not like that serious type of thing, because but she just like, she really just wanted the best out of him, like the best version of himself that she could try to get, but it just wasn't there. But I mean, Jessica, she's just a lover. Like she just like, she wants to be like in that, happily ever after type of fairy tale, which she eventually got. Like she's married, she has like 4 or 5 kids. Like she's kind of like, I think we joked about on the show, like Jessica would be the one married with like 5 kids, and like that's
you did. You did.
Yeah, so she did it. So she just really like she just really wanted to like when they had their good moments, they were good, and I think that's like what she clung on to. But Jessica, she's a good soul too. She just, Jason, I don't know, he had pull over girls.
I know, she had some rough scenes though, like cheating with Alex M and with Lauren, that fashion show scene. That was like iconic, like poor girl. That's on like Hulu and iTunes forever,
So crazy. I know, the poor girl. I don't even know. But I mean, Jason definitely has something to blame there too.
Oh, totally. It takes two. You just feel bad that
it does. It does take 2. Well, but you know what? At least it made a good episode.
Oh, there you go.
Quality content.
Production, I'm sure, was like, thrilled. Let's turn it over to Kristin. Oh, yeah. And it's so funny. We're in Chicago. Okay. Kristin actually was my neighbor in Lake Forest. I don't know, what is your relationship with Kristin from the beginning? Could you just give us like a little, spill some tea? Like, how did you meet Kristin, and do you guys still stay in touch now?
Yeah, we do stay in touch. Just sporadically through text message mostly. She moved to Laguna, when was it? I think like sophomore year she moved to California like right at the beginning of high school, but she went to a different school in Orange County because her parents like were divorced. So she was living with her mom in Chicago, but it just wasn't working out there. So her mom sent her to live with her dad. I know, and I love Chicago. I went there with Kristin our senior year in Barrington.
Okay.
Yeah, which I loved. I like Chicago, East Coast. I love it all out there. But so she came because I think she just was like, and she said it too, like she just was kind of a lot. And I think her mom was like, you're like crazy and you're this young girl, so I'm going to go send you with your dad. Maybe you'll get straightened out. And she just kind of, came out here and partied and had fun as well. But she's always been that same, like, obviously, like, we partied in high school and stuff, but like, she's just a good time. Like, she just likes to have fun. She's fun to be around. She definitely is like, she'll hold her ground. Like, she's not, she's like a little firecracker for sure, but that's only when it's kind of like something maybe is like PO'd her. But yeah, so she came to Laguna sophomore year, and then she actually like randomly was in the driver's ed class that Alex and I were taking before she went to Laguna Beach High School. So that's how I think Alex met her first and was like, hey, there's this like, super cool girl that just moved here, because she lived in a neighborhood that was in Laguna. So we kind of knew her before she went to Laguna Beach High School, and then she transferred over. And then Alex, Kristin, and I were like best friends for like solid year or so. We had like a nickname with each other and everything. And then Kristin just like kind of established herself, because when you come to a new school, you have to like meet everybody, and it's not the easiest thing to do, especially high school. But Kristin like fit right in and just took off and got her own little like
driver's ed. I mean, that's so great.
Yeah, it was driver's ed, which we like.
Good old driver's ed.
I know, right? High school.
How was she played on the show? Did she play it up for the cameras, or was that really just herself?
I think probably all of us by season 2 knew our role and definitely would play into what was going on. Because the new production too would straight up be like, okay, you guys, we're gonna meet at the beach and we need you to talk about prom and talk about who asked who, and like kind of like they would set it up to basically be like, can you talk on this person? And
would
then they would like have the cameras.
Take to prom and the dances, or did you guys get to decide?
I mean, we would ultimately decide, but it was more so just so like they would set it up so we would specifically talk about someone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah. So they would feed us information. So, I mean, it was, and then again, you kind of knew, like Kristin knew, like she had her whole love thing with Stephen and Lauren, and then whoever she was hanging out with. And so, you would amplify it, but only because we knew. At the beginning, none of us really knew. I think we're all just kind of like literally being who we were, like, what are these cameras in our faces?
Yeah.
So you were obviously Team Kristin. So did you dislike Lauren then for the whole Stephen situation?
No, Lauren was actually like super nice too. I didn't really have issues with anyone. I think through the show though, and after things aired, you kind of see and you're like, oh, that probably wasn't the nicest thing could have said. So it's like naturally you're like, there's like some maybe weird tension. But I was more, Kristin was my friend, and I think I just was like, she was in my grade, she was my friend, like we were closer than I was with Lauren because she was in the grade above, which, in high school, like now age doesn't matter, but in high school, if you're a sophomore and there's like a junior, senior, you're like, oh, that's like, we're so different. Yeah. But no, I think, the whole like Stephen, Lauren, Kristin thing definitely got played up because of the show as well. Like who knows where it would have gone if MTV wasn't there.
Yeah.
So, I think that got played into, but I think Lauren and Kristin are opposites. Like Kristin's definitely kind of like the wild and free, like want to have fun, like kind of party girl. I do what I want. And Lauren's a little bit more like by the book and like rounded off and wants to follow
Martha Stewart realness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's nothing bad. They just who they are.
Yeah. She's just.
So obviously you're on social media, so you saw the Kristin Stephen selfie. What are your thoughts on a potential reunion? Like, that is such strong 2020 vibes. I was like, please, like, we need this.
Yeah, so look into the crystal ball and give us an answer. What do you think?
I know. I love that so much. It was so cute to see them together. I don't know. I hope so. I feel like if like those two came together and went to MTV and was like, okay, we're ready to do this, they'd be like, okay, it's on. But I feel like
did she text you the photo before she posted it, like as like a throwback, or did you see it on social?
No, I just saw it. Like, I didn't, because at the time I have spats where I delete Instagram only because I feel like I'm on there, it like consumes like the time that I have to do something else. So I'll just like, if I'm like in like a wellness kick or something, or like be like, okay, no more Instagram because that's like my workout time. So I didn't have it at the moment. My sister sent me a screenshot and was like, oh my God. But I thought it was super cute that after all these years, they're still homies and they like met in Laguna, which was awesome. I mean, who knows? I don't think it's like, they're like an item or anything, but you know, it's like high school love.
Would you be down for it if they got back together?
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would love that. Like, for that is full circle. And I'm the one originally, like when they first met, I like somewhat introduced Stephen to Kristin because I was friends with Stephen and I like gave him or gave her, I gave one of them each other's number. So yeah.
That would like make my 2020. Yeah. Like seriously, it would turn it all around.
I know. So many bad things this year. They're
so really cute. Yeah, I know, and they're so cute together. They always have been. I mean, they're yeah. You know how it is, high school love. But they're both like super cool, awesome people. Like I could see them just having a ton of fun together. And friends also, or more.
Steven does not age at all.
No.
No, he looks
Remember
great.
when he was on One Tree Hill? Like he just popped out of nowhere and became an actor? Like we're here for it. Anything is possible, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I have something really embarrassing to say, and I want to bring up the Cabo trip, but I stayed in that hotel. You guys were like the original organic influencers because of you guys. So there's that. So was that a production trip, both seasons, or was that an actual school tradition? Or like
it was like an actual school tradition. We had gone like, it was like the lineage of going to Cabo from Laguna Beach High School was like definitely strong, and staying at that hotel. So yeah, that had been going on well before MTV, but then MTV coming along, like, you know, put it out there more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, going to Cabo, I mean, it's kind of like a rite of passage. Like in my era of going to Laguna Beach High School, like you must go to Cabo during spring break.
Oh, was that just like a place party?
Oh yeah. I mean, all day, every day. I don't even know how. I would probably die if I did it these days. But yeah, you just like, because it's the drinking age is 18, so it's like more, it's legal. So you just drink beers all day, take shots. Like it's insane. It's wild.
Kristin,
so hopefully my daughter doesn't. I love how I'm saying this with my daughter's in my lap, but that's okay.
She doesn't know.
I know. I'm one of those cool moms. No.
Yeah, you're a cool mom. Okay, just a couple more. Thank you again. What was the most fabricated storyline, would you say?
Okay. No. Okay. I'll say this, and it's like not like no hate or no like picking on anybody, but I think when Casey came on, because she didn't like, she was friends with like she definitely was friends with Cedric, if you remember.
Yeah.
He was on a couple of times. Like she was friends, but not as like core as like I guess the rest of us were. So I think Casey was kind of more so brought on because she.
That's so funny that you say that, because I feel in my note, I think that's the one instance where you could tell that was totally production. Like you said, it was mostly everything organic. And my note is like, was that production? Because you could tell it was a little forced, and like it just, you guys didn't like jive together. So
no, for sure. And that goes back to your other question, like after when you said were the cast members like chosen, like for sure, I think Casey was a little bit more. I think she also wanted to be on the show, so I definitely feel like that was a little bit more production side to be like, let's bring in this girl And I mean, it worked. It definitely stirred up its own storyline. So yeah.
She dropped a nasty rumor, so she probably.
Yeah, on my friend.
Yeah, it didn't end well. Okay, really quick, just the fashion. I think that's one of the best aspects of rewatching the show, like the sweatpants, like the jean skirts. Like,
yeah,
that
so
was
good. It was just, I mean, I don't even know how we got away with it, wearing such like short skirts and tube tops and stuff like that, but it was just the fashion. Like, it was what all the girls were wearing, and like, it just was, I mean, if you weren't wearing it, you weren't in trend. So
like, Abercrombie should have sponsored the show. That would have been the perfect sponsorship.
They should. Well, like, after the fact, they started to send us clothes. I think it was Hollister and Abercrombie would send like box of clothes, which made it, I mean, yeah, so clearly why we wore it more. But yeah, the fashion. I wonder if that will ever come back. Like,
we sure hope.
Yeah.
Whole look, right?
Who do you still keep up with, if anybody, besides Kristin, obviously?
Alex, Merle, Jessica, like more like through social media, but we'll like kind of chat sometimes. Who else? Morgan, sometimes. It's more like major life events. But if I ever go to California too, because my sister and my dad lived in like the neighboring city, I'll try to get together with the girls. But I mean, I keep in touch with Kristin, Jessica, Alex, Taylor, Morgan. I think that's everyone. But if I were to see any of them in passing or whatnot, I mean, I think everyone at this point is like grown up and good, and you know, we would be like a solid, like, oh my God, like no drama, no beef. At least for me. I hope no one has a different opinion, but
until they
everyone's pretty much good.
Until they do the reboot, and then it's game on.
I know. I mean, I definitely I feel bad for some of the things I said and did, but I don't think I was that bad. But
don't feel bad.
You definitely were not the worst.
Yeah.
So.
I won't. Thank you.
Okay, just two more. What was your worst memory from the show? That's kind of a weird question, but or the hardest scene to rewatch.
Yeah, I think well, I made a comment once about Casey's prom dress and what style it fit in what city. I regret saying that. I was like so hungover a day after prom, kind of annoyed that we were filming. That wasn't cool because a lot of people from like that community was like, what did that mean? And why did you have to mention us? But I felt bad about that. It would have been a little cringeworthy too, just because of like clear drinking and drunkenness at such a young age. But it made it iconic apparently. So
yes.
Yeah.
And favorite memory from the show?
Oh God, I mean, the whole experience, everything we got to do and everything that came after. I mean, we were like mini celebrities for like 10 minutes. So we definitely had a lot of fun, like after doing appearances and traveling the country and meeting fans and signing autographs. Like, it was a trip, like totally, you know, every young kid's dream if being in the spotlight is. So that was really fun to stem off of that. And even now, like doing this podcast with you guys, like it's still be able to talk about it. Yeah. And thank you guys for like keeping the heartbeat in the whole Laguna Beach thing going. So
we can't stop. For life. And thank you again. We know you're busy.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on and spilling some tea and giving us
this iconic show.
Yes.
I know. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
We'll let you.
Thank you for dealing with my baby.
Thank you so much again. It was really a dream come true. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Of course, you guys. Have a good one. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.